First off, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Nice to be here.
Now, so I don't butcher it, because I've heard it pronounced so many different ways. How do you pronounce your last name?
I pronounce it Appice.
Appice.
Carmine pronounces it Appice. He used to say Appice, and then he changed it to Appice when he started playing with Rod Stewart. And from then on, he called himself Carmine Appice, and then I got in the business, and I don't like the way that sounds, so I called it what my father says is Appice. I kept it as that.
Nice. Vinnie Appice of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, Dio, recently 9 Chambers, and of course his latest project, Kill Devil Hill, and any other number of projects you might want to talk about. Appreciate your taking the time. You've got the new project, Kill Devil Hill, happening, and I want to talk about that for sure, but if I could jump back just a little bit, you were doing the new project, or at least you're involved in the 9 Chambers project. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that was a friend of mine, Greg Hampton. He put that together, and he asked me to play on a bunch of the songs, and I said, okay, I like the stuff, and we recorded it last summer, and then, the CD came out. It was more of a project, with a couple of the guys, with Ed and Jon and Greg. So, there was supposed to be some dates to follow here and there, but it never happened. So, I chalked that one up to just a project, basically, with some friends. So it was fun to do, and we had a good time.
So now, are you going to, if anything happens with that, are you going to do any touring with it, or are you pretty much focused on the Kill Devil Hill stuff now?
No, I'm focused on Kill Devil Hill. That's my main band and my baby, And at this time, I don't think anything's going to happen with the other thing anyway. It's kind of the momentum's lost. The CD came out, and the reviews came out, and then nothing happened afterwards. So,
gotcha.
It wasn't expected. There was just talk of well, maybe we could do some shows. So it was more of a making a project, making some music. So,
gotcha. It was still great stuff, though.
It was good. Came out great.
Well, tell us about the Kill Devil Hill project, how it all came together, because you got Dewey Bragg in the band, Mark Zavon, or Zavon, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, Rex Brown, obviously.
Well, the way it happened was I wanted to put a band together, so after the Heaven and Hell tour, we came off the tour, and I did these drum tracks for a company for download, and then I had shoulder surgery, so right after that, and I couldn't play. So I was getting bummed out, and I thought, well, let me listen to these drum tracks. And the sound of the tracks, they were recorded by my friend Jeff Pilson, bass player from Dokken and Forna. He did such a great job. The drums sounded killer. So I thought, it'd be cool to write some stuff to this. So I got Timmy Bain come down. He, worked with me on some of the drum tracks, played some bass on it. And then I heard about this guitar player, Mark Zavon, and I said, let me give him a call, and I met him one time, and I invited him down, and we worked together a couple of days and put some guitars on some of the tracks. And it worked out really good. It was easy to work with, and during that time he played me a CD of Dewey Bragg. He said, well, I know the singer. And I listened to it, and right away I said, that's the guy. That guy sings awesome, man. He looks, that's what I was looking for, basically. So then, so it was the three of us, and then eventually it didn't work out with Jimmy. So Mark and I and Dewey worked together. We wrote a lot of songs. Actually, Mark and I would jam a lot and take the good riffs and put them down, and Mark would write some stuff to it, and Dewey would write lyrics and vocals, or Mark would help him with the lyrics and vocals. And Mark would play the bass on it, So we were looking for a bass player. We tried a number of different people, and we kept writing. And then I ran into Dimebag Darrell's Mrs. Rita, and she said Rex might be looking for something. So I said, oh. And I met Rex a long time ago. We played together with Pantera and Black Sabbath. So I had his number. I gave him a call. I always loved the way Rex played. He has such a great growl to his bass, and just really what I thought would fit in really perfectly. So I called him. I sent him the tracks. He loved them. He played on them. And then from there, we went shop for a deal. We got a deal on SPV Records. And, we finally got to record the record. Now it's due out next month, so we're all excited.
Right now,
this is my baby.
Now, how did the process, when you've got that much talent in a band like that, especially when you've got some definitely old school like yourself and Rex and everything, how did the songwriting process go in the band, and how was it like getting all those various egos and talents into one room and recording?
Well, like I said, a lot of the stuff was started with me and Mark just jamming at his studio.
Right.
We recorded stuff, and then, just crazy shit. We jammed and changed the tempos and tried different parts. And then we'd listen to it and start putting it together. Mark was great at working on his own and putting some additional parts in. And then we'd listen to it, re-record it. And then when Rex got involved, he'd send us a couple of riffs, and we'd work on that and put it down, send it to him. He'd put bass on it, because he lives in Texas. We're in L.A.
Right.
So, and then Dewey would come down and start singing, and we'd all help each other out. So it was a really good group effort, and everybody had a say in everything, and it just flowed really smoothly, really well. Came out really well. So very, very creative at that point.
Well, and every song sort of has a story behind it. Are there one or two songs on the album that have like a unique or interesting story that you're willing to share with us?
Well, the most interesting is Up in Flames, because Dewey had renting a house in L.A., and it was a cool house. He was fixing it up, and it was really cool. And it was right around Halloween. I was just over there like the week earlier for Halloween, and he had this, skeletons and shit and spider webs all over. He has that anyway, even though it's not Halloween. It looks like Halloween. So about a week later, all of a sudden the neighbors, it was like an attached two-unit house, two houses attached. The neighbors caught fire, and next thing you know, the fire went crazy and started to come in a little bit into Dewey's place until the fire engines got there. But there's a lot of smoke damage, stunk in there, and Dewey called up and told me. I went over there, helped him, and Mark helped him, and so he took video of it, and so he wrote that song based on his house burning. I'm losing stuff and things turning to ash and all that stuff.
Wow.
So it's pretty moving lyrics, and even when we play it live, people really get into it. Yeah, it's because it's all real, pretty cool.
And you guys have already been out doing some shows. You did some stuff last year and everything. That's how I initially got the word, was the buzz was out that you guys just destroy when you're playing live. Are there are there a couple of songs that are on the album that really go over well live?
War Machine goes over well live. We're All Gonna Die. Revenge, they all go over well because they're all a little different. They got hooks to them, and they're heavy. And the band live just kicks ass. I still got a big fire in me that hasn't gone out, since I was 20. And I play pissed off, and I play, I mean it. And with this music, that's the way it should be played. And same with Black Sabbath, and it should be played with complete, sheer fucking power. And Rex plays like that. His sound is big, badass bass, and Mark's a heavy guitar player. So we just slam it live. It's a great band live. It really gels together well. We play off each other, and it looks like a band. It's a real band, this band. No faking this one. This is the real deal.
And then you guys are getting ready to go out on tour in May in support of the album. You're going to be doing a co-headlining tour, I believe, with Portnoy's new project, Adrenaline Mob. Yeah,
we're managed by the same manager, Eric Luftglass, who's managing both bands and doing a great job. And he's, came up with the idea a while ago, saying, well, why don't we do a tour together? Even when we were managed by somebody else, and we thought it was a great idea because the albums were coming out around the same time, and it would be a great thing as far as fans seeing both bands together. And then we'll start, we'll play, they'll play, and then at the end we'll all jam a couple of songs. So we thought it would be a really cool idea and a really exciting tour. So we're going to do that starting in May, and then we're hoping to do more with them maybe during the summer, late summer, and then we're going to do some more dates on our own, and we're working on going to Europe for a little bit. So there's a lot of stuff in the works, but we want to be out there playing for everybody and pushing the album and letting them hear the band live. It's awesome. So
nice.
So keep an eye. The website's got all the information on it. It's KillDevilHillMusic.com and Kill Devil Hill Music on Facebook too. So.
But now, what's the date in May that this officially comes out?
May 28th.
May
coming out on
28th.
SPD record.
So we still got like 6 weeks to wait. It's a long time.
I know. I thought it was the 22nd, but I'm pretty sure it's the 22nd or 28th. So it's worth waiting for. And that album sounds awesome. Yeah, Jay Rustin was produced by us and Warren Riker, and then Jay Rustin mixed it, and he just mixed the Anthrax last release that came out, and he just made it spark. He amazed me, that guy. You know, he just we gave him the stuff, and he just sent mixes back, and there was such little adjustments that we wanted on it that it's incredible. And yeah, it's amazing. So the album sonically sounds awesome.
Excellent. I actually, as we were sitting here talking, they just sent me the album to listen to and review, literally, while we were on the phone. Yeah, so I hadn't even had a chance to hear it yet. So I'm looking forward to that. So before we get out of here, I mean, because you've been in this...
Play it loud, too.
Yeah, absolutely. You have been in the industry for a long, long time and been involved in so many influential and essential projects. Going back for you when you were a child or a teenager, was there one moment of epiphany, if you will, where you saw somebody, heard a song, an album or something, where you were just like, this is what I want to do with my life?
No, because I was influenced by my brother Carmine.
Right.
See, when I was really young, even like 7 and 8 years old, he used to rehearse in the house in Brooklyn, New York, this is, and he used to rehearse it with the band. And, you know, so it was like, who had a live band playing in the house when you're that age, you know? I did. So I would, like, sit there on the floor and watch them play and be amazed by all the equipment and all the wires and everything and all the craziness going on and the sound that came out of all these guys playing together. So right away I went, wow, you know, this is cool. And then, you know, obviously there were drums in the house, so I started banging on the drums and then started getting into it, you know? And then eventually I got a little older and Carmine suggested to my parents, why don't you send him for lessons? He sounds like he's got some talent there. So I went for lessons to the same guy that Carmine went to, Dick Bennett. His name is in Brooklyn, New York, and went through all the books Carmine went through. And, you know, I knew right then and there, you know, like, I want to do this. And then I started going for lessons, but I practiced a lot, and I knew I was pretty good for my age. Then I started playing with all these bands that were older than me, and I knew this. I didn't even think about it. I knew and I felt that this was what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, you know. And I didn't think about doing anything else, so it panned out, you know. It just worked out for me. So
nice, and still going
I took
strong.
it seriously. I practiced a lot, and I, you know, tried to learn and tried to be a team player with every band I play with. I'm not a scumbag or egotist or any of that shit, you know. I want what's best for the band, and you know, I believe in the team, you know. It's got to be like that.
Definitely. And we're getting ready to do, Metal Hawk's getting ready to do its article on the 30 best drummers, hard rock and metal, for the last 30 years. Besides your brother, obviously, and yourself, who do you think belongs on that list that gets way overlooked behind the kid?
I would say, as a new guy, Dave Lombardi from Slayer.
Right.
He just kicks ass, right? Dave just kicks it. Mitch Mitchell, you know, John Bonham, of course. Billy Commons not rock, but who else? Keith Moon, you know, guys like that. Who else? I like Dean Casanova. I think he plays awesome stuff, tasty stuff. And you know what? Put fucking Ringo on there. You know? Everybody thinks Ringo doesn't play because he's not technical, but he is what you want to listen to when you want to play melodic, which a lot of drummers don't play. You know, where you repeat things, or you don't play 2 and 4 within a song, you play tom things, or you stop. That's more creative. And I would put Bill Ward on there. Bill played unbelievable parts that he came up with, not just playing 2 and 4.
He had a very jazzy feel to him, I think.
Yeah, he had jazzy, and if you talk to Bill, he calls himself a percussionist, not a drummer.
Right.
That's the way he played. But I think that's brilliant, because, you know, a lot of drummers can play 2. You can play 2 and 4 through any song, but when you break it up and come up with a melodic part, whether it's on the toms or even a melodic beat that repeats, I find that more interesting than somebody just playing right through a song. You know, that means they thought about it or they felt it, you know, and came up with parts. And Bill Ward does that, Ringo does that, you know, and Keith Moon, Bonzo, everybody, all the great drummers did that.
I was going to say, Keith Moon was never really technically proficient, but he was just a beast behind that kit. He was just all over it, and you couldn't help but love the aggression and the enthusiasm.
Try to recreate his drum part. Like if you saw a Who tribute band, some of those drum parts you don't even know what he's doing. It's just the feel that came out. It's whatever he played was in his head. It was crazy. It's hard to duplicate, you know.
All right, so
awesome.
Yeah. So last question before we get out of here, then. You've been on so many albums I can't even keep count, and we're not going to count the Kill Devil Hill album because it would be an unfair question. But of all the albums you've ever performed on, which one still rings truest to you that you're most proud of, that you would put in your box and bury for 20 years for others to find?
I would say probably Holy Diver, you know. That album was something special to me that was, you know, we started from scratch, you know, with a new band, and we didn't have any music written, and it all evolved into all these cool songs, and then I thought I played pretty cool on that album. There's a lot of it, you know, it didn't play it safe. There's a lot of part playing on it, and there's a lot of fills that didn't get in the way with Ronnie's vocals and stuff. So I would say Holy Diver. It's just got some, I think it's got great songs, great performance, and cool drums on it, besides all the other instruments. Great, you know. So that's the one I would pick. That or Mob Rules, you know. But I would say Holy Diver is more, you know, me.
Right. Vinnie, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks for having me. And, you know, if you need anything more, you can call this number. And enjoy the record. I hope you like it, okay?
Take care,
Break
brother.
it up.